Right, as opposed to the dirty hand. I mean, hello, Howard, you know. The man was a bit compulsive, let's face it, but on the other hand, he was absolutely the most amazing man that America has ever created, ever.
Okay, I have got to interrupt you right now.
Sorry.
Richard Hack, thank you very much. We appreciate the book is called Hughes. We want to go live right now and show you a picture of the World Trade Center where I understand, do we have it? No, we do not. We have a breaking story, though. We're going to come back with that in just a moment. I did see a plane go by a second ago, though, and it has now impacted the building. I'm trying to see if it's the different tower.
I think it may have been. I believe the first one was World Trade Center 1, and it looks, from what I'm seeing on the television, like it may have been the second building.
This is a piece of tape, and we may actually see another plane enter the picture here in a second.
I wonder if there are air traffic control problems.
Let's go back to Jennifer Oberstein, who was talking to a second ago. Jennifer, did you see this happen?
Hello?
Did you just see this happen, Jennifer?
Matt, I've never seen any. It looks like a movie. I saw a large plane, like a jet, going immediately headed directly into the World Trade Center. It just flew into it, into the other tower, coming from south to north. I watched the plane fly into the World Trade Center. It was a jet. It was a very large plane. It was going fast. It went past the Ritz-Carlton Hotel that's being built in Battery Park. It flew right past it, almost hit it, and then went in.
This is so shocking, of course, to everybody watching.
Joining me now here in the BBC World studio is the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, who's in London at the moment. Mr. Barak, welcome to BBC World. First, your reaction, having heard what's happened. At least 4 planes have been hijacked, and there may be more.
The world will not be the same from today on. It's an attack against our whole civilization. I don't know who is responsible. I believe we will know in 12 hours. If it is a kind of bin Laden organization, and even if it's something else, I believe that this is the time to deploy a globally concerted effort led by the United States, the UK, Europe, and Russia against all sources of terror. It's a time to launch a operational, concrete war against terror, even if it takes certain pains from the routine activities of our normal society.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. And tonight, the United States of America makes the following demands on the Taliban. Deliver to United States authorities all the leaders of Al-Qaeda who hide in your land.
And so I accept this award in that spirit, that sacrifice is required.
Intended to help prevent another terrorist attack, introducing a national driver's license.
This is not just an anti-terrorism action. We do know that the 9/11 hijackers had multiple driver's licenses from 5 states, but it's public safety as well.
Chances are you carry one of these cards. They're supposed to get you into secure places, but we've learned they may not be all that secure. In fact, the same technology could put you at risk. Radio technology stops shoplifters, tracks merchandise, follows livestock. It even tells you how bad local traffic is, all through tiny radio transmitters called radio frequency identifiers, or RFID. All these devices transmit signals to receivers, like these at the Fast Track toll booths.
That means that someone in state government knows where they've been, knows where they've gone, knows how long it took them to get there.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, according to State Senator Joe Simidian. Those same transmitters are in our key cards that get many of us into our work buildings. Airports use RFID technology to secure their buildings. But according to the senator, RFIDs are easy to hack, meaning it's easy to get your personal information.
If I'm a hacker, how close do I need to be to your card to get the information off it?
Oh, you can be 20 or 30 feet away.
What especially concerns Simidian is there has been talk to use the same RFID technology in health cards, driver's licenses, student IDs, and other government-issued identification. Simitian is asking California lawmakers to pass what he calls common-sense protections, which would limit what can be put on those cards. His fear, without it, our personal safety is at risk.
We begin today with a major new security initiative that is designed to make it even harder for both terrorists and illegal immigrants to obtain false identification papers. It involves a government-issued ID card that may cause enormous headaches for ordinary Americans and is already being criticized by privacy advocates.
Well, a growing debate in Washington following reports that some U.S. senators are now considering an immigration bill that would force all U.S. workers to carry around biometric ID cards. Well, it is an idea that is now raising some serious concerns among privacy advocates.
For every agent, miles of border.
Report warns of U.S. border vulnerability.
Exploited visas making a sieve of U.S. border.
Fake IDs possibly sold to thousands of biometric
U.S. expects 40% rise in visa biometric identification border traffic to triple by 2030. Officials are safe to meet needs. Air travel security government.
اصیل و قدیمی و مهم سازمان ثبت احوال اسناد کشور ثبت احوال کشوریان
As I mentioned to Nancy Kachingira earlier, as soon as she's ready to invite me, I'll be in Uganda with my identity card at hand, as President Uhuru Kenyatta today spearheaded this by using his national identity card to travel to neighboring Uganda in a move aimed at encouraging cross-border travel. But the use of identity cards to travel within the EAC actually took effect last month, with Kenya, Uganda and Rwanda citizens readily taking advantage of the new requirement. Kenyans and Rwandese use the national IDs, while their Ugandan counterparts use their voting cards.
While Britain is working slowly through a gay marriage strategy, Argentina has already embraced marriage equality for same-sex couples. And going one step further to inclusiveness, Argentina has launched a groundbreaking new gender identity law for transsexuals today. To great cheer, the Argentine president, Cristina Fernandez, signed the decree and then personally delivered the first new national identity cards to a handful of transsexual persons, featuring their new pictures, names, and perhaps most importantly, the gender.
I'm from Austria, and I would like to know whether there are any plans in the near future for a common ID card for all EU citizens. Thank you.
Ich bitte um eine Antwort. Vielen Dank.
Alors une carte d'identité est un document officiel.
Well, an ID card is an official document handed out by authorities in a given country which shows your identity and your nationality. It's sometimes needed for administrative purposes or even between two people to certify transactions, such as a cheque, for instance. In the European Union, free movement and growing trade relations between member states an incentive for citizens to acquire a document, allowing them to prove their identity in a reliable and simple way, both physically and on the internet.
Physique, mais aussi virtuel sur Internet.
Plans to create a European ID card were dropped in early 2000 due to technical, administrative and political obstacles. Instead, the experimental project STALK was introduced in May 2008. STALK stands for Secure Identity Across Borders Linked. Relying on volunteer states, the aim of the project is not to create a single ID document, but to integrate common electronic elements into national ID cards, which could be used in every partner state.
Protecting your money from credit card cloners. Today, Target CFO appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee to be grilled about the security breach that had shoppers scrambling over the holidays. The I-Team's Tom Yamas has been investigating credit insecurities in the U.S. and the big plan to secure the system. Tom's live in the newsroom right now with what he's found.
Chuck, Target announced today it plans to start accepting chip-enabled credit cards by next year, replacing the credit cards you have in your wallet right now.
Europe started moving away from magnetic strip credit cards more than 20 years ago. They started using cards with embedded computer chips that generate a unique code every time it's used, much more hacker-resistant.
If America was using chip technology, then the data breach would have had much less impact.
Chip technology, also known as EMV, is used all over the world, even in North Korea. The National Retail Federation admits the Target breach has forced their hand to update their systems.
We're using essentially an 8-track tape from the 1960s, this magnetic stripe.
MasterCard, Visa, and American Express all offer the cards now, but you have to request them. Experts say we will see a full swing away from magnetic strips by the fall of 2015. Chuck and Sabila?
Can't come soon enough. All right, Tom, thanks so much.
In New York City, everybody shares close quarters, airports, streets, subways.
I don't like walking with all my credit cards. I've been pickpocketed before.
Tasha Guevara is talking about the sly thief who dips in her purse. But there's another type of pickpocket out there.
People can pickpocket you without even touching you.
How is this possible? Through radio frequency identification, or RFID. The chips send a short-range radio signal, used all of the time in ID badges and access cards. But they're also in some credit cards, in all U.S. passports issued since 2006, and in passport ID cards, which have a warning on the back to keep it in a protective sleeve. Walt Augustinowicz owns the company that makes those sleeves.
Because it's a radio, you just get near someone with one of these readers and you can actually skim off their credit card numbers or expiration dates.
Using a $10 credit card reader he bought on eBay, he demonstrates how it could happen. Once skimmed, Augustinowicz shows how pickpockets can download your sensitive information. We came down to the Borough Hall train station in Brooklyn with this $10 skimmer to find out how many passengers might be at risk. These trusting commuters actually let us try to skim their credit cards, but didn't have ones with RFID chips.
It's pretty scary.
But Naima Gregory did.
I thought that it would have required a lot more high-tech technology than that.
RFID experts say it's not that bad.